The diagnosis came on a Tuesday, stage 3 ovarian cancer. I sat in Dr. Warner's office, staring at the scans while she explained treatment options, survival rates, and next steps. But all I could think about was my company, New Horizons Marketing, the business I built from scratch over the last decade. Hundreds of employees depended on me. Millions in contracts needed oversight. How could I fight cancer and keep everything from falling apart? You need to focus on getting well, Dr. Warner insisted, her kind eyes firm behind her glasses. The next few months will be intense. You can't try to run a company while undergoing aggressive treatment. I'm Madison Wells, Maddie to my friends, and I've always been the type to handle everything myself. But sitting in that sterile office, facing the battle of my life, I knew I needed help. That's when I made the decision that would change everything. I called Emily. Emily Turner had been my best friend since college. We'd met in business school, dreaming up entrepreneurial ventures over late-night study sessions. While I went on to start New Horizons, she'd worked her way up through various tech companies. She was smart, driven, and most importantly, I trusted her completely. Of course I'll help, she said immediately when I explained the situation. You focus on getting better. I'll take a leave of absence from my job and keep everything running smoothly until you're back. Relief flooded through me. Emily knew the business almost as well as I did. She'd been there from the beginning, offering advice and support as I built it up. Who better to take temporary control while I fought this battle? We'll need to make it official, I said, already thinking through the legalities. Temporary power of attorney, operating authority, access to all accounts. Just until I'm better. Whatever you need, Emily assured me. Don't worry about a thing. I've got your back. I spent the next week getting everything in order. My lawyer, David Chen, drew up the necessary paperwork while I briefed Emily on all ongoing projects and operations. She absorbed everything quickly, asking smart questions and taking detailed notes. Remember, I told her the day before I was due to start treatment, the Anderson account is our biggest priority right now. The campaign launch is in 3 months, and they're expecting big results. I know, she smiled, hugging me. I've got this, Maddie. You just focus on getting well. The first round of chemo hit me hard. I spent most of those initial weeks either in the hospital or curled up in bed at home, too sick to do more than check my phone occasionally. Emily sent regular updates. Everything was running smoothly. The Anderson campaign was on track. Staff morale was good. You've built an amazing team, she texted. They're all pulling together, determined to make you proud. I should have been reassured. Instead, something nagged at me. Maybe it was the way Emily's updates got progressively shorter, vaguer, or how she stopped mentioning specific client names or contract details. But chemo brain made it hard to focus, and the waves of nausea kept me from digging deeper. It was Jasmine from accounting who first raised the alarm. Nearly 3 months into my treatment, she managed to catch me on a good day when I was actually able to take calls. Something's wrong, she said quietly, her voice tense. Emily's been making strange transfers, changing account permissions, and she's hired a whole new executive team without consulting anyone. I sat up straighter, ignoring the way the room spun. What kind of transfers? Large sums moving between accounts, investments being liquidated. And she hesitated. She's changed a lot of the ownership documentation. I only noticed because some tax forms came across my desk. My heart started pounding. Send me everything you have. Now. Over the next hour, Jasmine forwarded document after document. Through my chemo fog, I forced myself to focus on the details. What I found made me sick in a way that had nothing to do with cancer. Emily hadn't just been managing the company, she'd been systematically taking it over. Using the power of attorney I granted her, she transferred ownership stakes to herself. New contracts were being written under her name only, the new executive team she'd hired. All old colleagues from her tech days, people loyal to her. With shaking hands, I called David Chen. I was about to call you, he said grimly. I've just received notice of a board meeting scheduled for next week. They're voting on a new corporate structure, one that would make Emily permanent CEO and majority owner. She can't do that, I protested. The power of attorney was temporary, just for while I'm sick. She's arguing that your illness makes you incapable of running the company permanently. She's got medical documentation suggesting your prognosis is poor. I nearly dropped the phone. Emily had gone to my doctors, accessed my private medical records. That's illegal, I said, my voice shaking with rage. She had no right. No, she didn't, David agreed. But she's clearly been planning this for a while. She's got everything structured to make it look like you willingly transferred control. Fighting this will be complicated. I closed my eyes, remembering all those late-night study sessions with Emily, all the dreams we'd shared. Had she been waiting for this opportunity all along? Just pretending to be my friend while watching for a chance to take everything I'd built? The next day, still reeling from the betrayal, I dragged myself to the office. I hadn't been there in months, and the familiar space felt suddenly foreign. Emily had redecorated, I noticed. Her design aesthetic was colder, more corporate than my warm, collaborative style. She was in my office, her office now, I suppose, feet up on my desk, looking through contracts. She didn't seem surprised to see me. "Should you be out of bed?" she asked, not even bothering to stand. "You look terrible." "What are you doing, Emily?" She sighed, setting down the papers. "What needs to be done? Face it, Maddie, you're in no condition to run this company. You might never be again. I'm protecting everything you've built." "By stealing it?" "By saving it," she corrected sharply. "You're too emotional, too attached to the old way of doing things. I've already increased efficiency by 30%. The Anderson campaign is exceeding all projections. Face it, I'm better at this than you ever were." I stared at her, this woman I trusted with everything. She stared back, and I saw no trace of the friend I'd known for 15 years. This was a stranger wearing Emily's face, someone cold and calculating who'd been waiting to take everything I had. "The board meets next week," she continued. "After that, everything will be official. You should be thanking me. I'm offering you a generous retirement package. Enough to cover your medical bills, at least." My hands clenched into fists. "This isn't over." She smiled, almost pitying. "Yes, it is. You're sick, Maddie. Weak. You really want to spend what time you have left fighting a legal battle you can't win." I walked out without another word, her laughter following me down the hall. She thought she had won, thought I was too sick to fight back. She was wrong. What Emily didn't know was that I hadn't survived a decade in business by being naive. Before granting her power of attorney, I put certain safeguards in place. Digital breadcrumbs, hidden documentation, backup plans she knew nothing about. More importantly, she'd underestimated the loyalty of my team. Jasmine wasn't the only one who'd been watching, documenting everything. And now that I knew what Emily was up to, it was time to put all those pieces together. I pulled out my phone, sending a single text to a number Emily didn't know existed. "Activate Protocol Phoenix." The response came immediately. "Copy that. Standing by." Emily thought cancer had made me weak. She was about to learn that some things make you stronger, even as they try to break you down. I had 1 week until the board meeting, 1 week to expose her betrayal and take back what was mine. Protocol Phoenix wasn't just a contingency plan, it was digital warfare. From the moment I'd given Emily power of attorney, a specialized tracking program had been monitoring every keystroke, every file access, every email on our company's systems. Now, as I sat in David Chen's office reviewing the evidence, I realized just how thoroughly she'd betrayed me. "She's been planning this for months," David said, scrolling through emails between Emily and her new executive team. "Look at the timestamps. She was recruiting them before you even started treatment." The emails were damning. Emily had pitched them on a hostile takeover while I was still in my first round of chemo, promising them equity stakes once she gained control. She even outlined how she used my illness to force me out. "The best part is, she won't fight back," one email read. "She's too sick, too trusting. By the time she realizes what's happening, it'll be too late." My hands shook as I read her words, but not from weakness. Pure rage coursed through me, burning hotter than any fever chemo had given me. "There's more," said Marcus, my head of its security. He'd been running Protocol Phoenix since day one, carefully documenting everything. "She's been falsifying financial reports, making it look like the company was struggling under your leadership, but magically improved once she took over." "The Anderson campaign numbers?" I asked. "All inflated. She's been cooking the books to make her performance look better than it is. The real numbers show we're actually losing ground with several major clients." I nodded slowly. Emily had always been good with numbers, skilled at making data tell whatever story she wanted. But she'd forgotten one crucial detail about me. Before starting New Horizons, I'd worked as a forensic accountant. I knew every trick in the book, and more importantly, how to expose them. What about the medical records? David asked. That's a serious privacy violation. Marcus grinned. Got her there too. She used her power of attorney to access your files, but then shared them with unauthorized parties, including those new executives. That's multiple HIVAA violations. Each one carries heavy penalties. The pieces were coming together, but we still had to move carefully. Emily had spent months building her web of deception. We had 6 days to tear it all down. I worked through another round of chemo, typing emails from my hospital bed while poison dripped into my veins. My core team, the ones I knew I could trust, executed every part of the plan with precision. Jasmine dug deeper into the financial records, documenting every falsified report. Marcus gathered electronic evidence, making sure every breach was properly logged. David prepared legal documents, ready to file multiple lawsuits if necessary. The hardest part was keeping it all hidden from Emily. She still sent her daily updates, each one more condescending than the last. I replied with brief acknowledgments, playing the role of the defeated cancer patient she expected me to be. 2 days before the board meeting, we launched the first counterattack. David filed complaints with multiple regulatory agencies, triggering automatic investigations into the financial discrepancies. The FBI's white-collar crime division took special interest in the fraudulent reports to shareholders. Emily's first hint that something was wrong came when federal agents showed up at the office with warrants. She called me immediately, her voice tight with controlled panic. What did you do? Me? I said innocently. I'm just a sick woman trying to focus on my recovery. Isn't that what you wanted? She hung up without responding. An hour later, my phone exploded with texts from various board members. The federal investigation had spooked them. Nobody wanted to be caught up in a fraud scandal. The next blow came from an unexpected source. Angela Anderson herself, head of our biggest client, had been quietly furious about Emily's mishandling of their campaign. She'd stayed quiet out of loyalty to me, documenting everything while waiting for someone to ask the right questions. Now, with the investigation underway, she submitted all her evidence. Emails showed Emily had been cutting corners, misrepresenting results, even overcharging for services never delivered. The Anderson contract alone would be enough to trigger criminal fraud charges. The night before the board meeting, I had my lawyer send one final email to Emily. The board meets tomorrow to vote on your proposed restructuring. Before that happens, you might want to review the attached documents. Pay special attention to the federal indictments being prepared. You have until 9 a.m. to resign and return full control to me. After that, everything goes public. She tried to call me 6 times that night. I let each call go to voicemail, listening as her messages grew increasingly desperate. Maddie, please. We can work this out. You don't understand. I was trying to help. Don't do this. You'll destroy everything. The final message, sent at 3 a.m., was barely coherent. I built this too. You owe me. I deserve more than you ever gave me. I deleted them all without responding. The board meeting was scheduled for 10 a.m. At 8:55, David received Emily's resignation, along with signed documents returning all control to me. She tried to negotiate, wanted immunity from prosecution, a severance package, a clean reference for her next job. No deals, I told David. She gets nothing. Emily was gone by the time I arrived at the office. She cleared out her things overnight, leaving only a handwritten note on my desk. I'm sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. I crumpled the note and threw it away. Empty apologies meant nothing compared to her actions. The board meeting went ahead as scheduled, but with a very different agenda. Instead of voting on Emily's takeover, they reviewed the evidence of her fraud and voted unanimously to support criminal prosecution. The federal investigation will take time, David warned me afterward. Are you sure you want to pursue this? It'll be stressful, and with your health. I cut him off. I'm fighting 2 battles, one against cancer and one against betrayal. I intend to win both. Over the next few weeks, the full scope of Emily's deception came to light. The fraud went deeper than we'd initially discovered. She'd been embezzling funds, setting up fake vendor accounts, even stealing client data to sell to competitors. The FBI arrested her at her home, charging her with multiple counts of fraud, embezzlement, and corporate espionage. The perp walk was all over the local news. Emily Turner, former rising star in the tech world, led away in handcuffs. I watched the coverage from my oncologist's office, where I was receiving good news for the first time in months. The aggressive treatment was working. My numbers were improving. The cancer was retreating. "You're not out of the woods," Dr. Warner cautioned. "But you're fighting hard. And you're winning." She had no idea how right she was. Emily eventually took a plea deal, 15 years in federal prison, plus restitution of everything she'd stolen. She tried to send me a letter from jail, full of explanations and excuses. I returned it unopened. Some betrayals can't be explained away. Some friendships, once broken, can't be repaired. The company not only survived but thrived. The Anderson campaign, under new legitimate management, exceeded all genuine projections. Our reputation for integrity actually grew stronger after we publicly cooperated with the investigation and implemented stricter oversight measures. A year after Emily's arrest, I stood in front of our assembled staff, officially cancer-free and fully back in control. "We've been through a lot together," I told them. "We faced threats from both outside and within. But we survived because of two things: preparation and loyalty." I looked at the faces before me, Jasmine, Marcus, and all the others who'd helped expose the truth. They hadn't just been protecting the company, they'd been protecting a vision of business based on trust and genuine value. "Sometimes the worst betrayals teach us the best lessons," I continued. "They show us who our real friends are. They reveal our true strength, and they remind us that the right way isn't always the easy way." Later that day, I finally cleaned out the last of Emily's things from what was once again my office. In a drawer, I found an old photo from our college graduation, two young women with bright smiles and big dreams, arms around each other like sisters. I thought about the girl Emily had been then, before ambition and jealousy poisoned her soul. I thought about the woman she became, willing to betray 15 years of friendship for power and control. Then I thought about who I'd become through all this, stronger, wiser, more aware of both human weakness and human loyalty. Cancer and betrayal had tried to break me, but they'd only revealed what I was truly made of. I took the photo and dropped it in the shredder without regret. The past was gone, but the future was still mine to shape. Emily had called me weak, had seen my illness as an opportunity to steal everything I'd built. In the end, she learned what I'd known all along: true strength isn't about taking what belongs to others. It's about standing firm in your values, even when everything else is falling apart. I survived cancer. I survived betrayal. And I learned that sometimes the worst experiences bring out the best in us and show us exactly who we can trust when everything is on the line. Now, 2 years later, New Horizons continues to grow and thrive. Emily serves her sentence, her dreams of corporate takeover replaced by prison routine. And I've learned to balance trust with wisdom, giving people chances while always keeping one eye on the horizon. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies, it's about becoming stronger than they ever imagined you could be.